The Lord be with you. A reading the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Be careful not to parade your good deeds before people to attract their notice. By doing this, you lose all reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give alms, do not have it trumpeted before you. This is what the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets to win people's admiration. I tell you solemnly, they have had their reward. But when you give alms, your left hand must not know what your right hand is doing. Your almsgiving must be secret, and your Father who sees all that is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not imitate the hypocrites. They love to say their prayers standing up in the synagogues and at the street corners for people to see them. I tell you solemnly, they have had their reward. But when you pray, go to your private room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who is in that secret place. And your Father who sees all that is done in secret will reward you. When you fast, do not put on a gloomy look as the hypocrites do. They pull long faces to let people know they are fasting. I tell you solemnly, they have had their reward. But when you fast, put oil on your head, wash your face, so that no one will know you are fasting, except your Father who sees all that is done in secret. And your Father who sees all that is done in secret will reward you." The Gospel of the Lord. Please be seated. One Valentine's Day, a daughter comes home and goes to her mother and says, "Mommy, why are all men, can't all men be trusted? Why are men so unfaithful?" So the mother said to his daughter, "What happened, my child?" She said, "My boyfriend on Valentine's Day was dancing with another girl." So the mother turned around to her child, "But why did you let him dance?" She said, "I didn't have a choice." Saying, what do you mean? Didn't you see him? Didn't he ask you permission? Says, "No, he did not." So he says, "And how do you know this happened?" He says, "Because he went with another girl for this Valentine dance." He said, "But how do you know he went?" He said, "Because I went with another boy for this Valentine dance." My dear friends, it's very easy for us to point fingers at people. It's very easy to point fingers and say, "That person is like that. That person is like that." But we forget that three fingers are pointing back at us. And that's exactly what the season of Lent is all about. It's about pointing all the fingers at yourself. The season of Lent is a journey when you go into yourself, when each one goes into themselves and examines themselves, which is the most difficult and the toughest journey to make. It's easier to go to the moon and back than to go into one's own self. Why? Because when you go into your own self, then you realize there is a lot of things in me that should not be there. And that is why fasting, almsgiving and prayer is important, so that we can purge ourselves of all these. Go into ourselves, discover ourselves, and then purge ourselves from all these things. My dear friends, if you plan to fast and you go around abusing and fighting, don't fast. It's better you eat extra, where you can control your temper, where you can be a good person, where you can be somebody who is there for everyone, and above all, be of assistance to others. Because our fasting, our almsgiving and prayer should help us come closer to God and come closer to one another. But if you see that by you fasting, by you giving alms, by you praying, it's taking you away from people, taking you away from God, stop it. It's better you eat double. It's better you keep everything to yourself. It's better you stop praying but become a good human being. And that's exactly what we are told today. All our fasting, our prayer and almsgiving is not supposed to be, you don't have to bajao the dole and tell it the whole world, मैं रोजा रख रहा हूँ, मैं खैरात दे रहा हूँ, 100 तस्वीरें डालो भाई. Your almsgiving, your fasting and prayer should be private. The first reading tells us very clearly, the prophet Joel says, he says, it's not you rent your clothes, do not tear your clothes, but break your heart. That's exactly what he's saying. It's the journey within. It's the journey of you going into your heart and breaking it down. Breaking your heart and then mending it back again. My dear friends, the season of Lent is a time when we prepare ourselves for the resurrection of Jesus. And what better way of preparing ourselves for the resurrection of Jesus by having a metanoia, by changing yourself, by bringing on a new self in you, bringing on a new heart. What better way to welcome the resurrected Christ with a new heart, a pure heart. And the only way a pure heart, when I make a sacrifice so that others benefit from it. When I break myself so that others can profit from it. That's what Jesus did. He broke his body, he shed his blood for you and me. Not so that he becomes great, no. He went up there for you and me. And that is what he wants us to do. To break ourselves, to empty ourselves for one another. For a short while, let us ask ourselves, what's the season of Lent going to mean for me this time? What am I going to change in myself this time? And am I ready to go into myself and see where I go wrong? And it's not I who tell you, no, you have to do this. Oh, you have to do this. And you have to do this. No. Everyone has to ask their own self. I have to ask myself. You have to ask yourself. How do I go into myself? What changes do I need in my own self? For a short while, let's reflect on these few thoughts, and then we shall offer a prayer to the Lord. Amen.